How's that for an intro? Hey guys, welcome to Myth Leather Company's leather crafting studio right here in Marysville, Washington. We're about 45 minutes south of British Columbia and about 45 minutes north of Seattle, Washington, in a little 500 square foot facility that we're so happy to have very close to our home. And we thought we'd give you just a little snapshot of what we do, our workflow, our space, our tools, and we'll go from there. If we have any interest, we'd be interested in doing some tutorial videos on how the workflow of our products go. And please, if you haven't done so already, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can do these live. And let's do it. Let's have some fun. Thank you. That's what we have to put up with. We're in the low rent district. Stand by. It's not that loud. It sounds loud on the camera though, I guarantee you that. This is gonna be a really low budget film, just like everything else, so we'll do it like MTV Crib style. So here we are. This space is just over 500 square feet, and this is where we call Myth Leather Company home. It's been great to segregate it from our home as we were spilling out into multiple rooms and in the garage and everything else. So this space is going to work well for us. So far it's worked really well to improve the workflow for sure. So the first place that we walk into here, this is just a little space for Shelby. Has a desk set up, which is kind of temporary at the moment until she figures out her workflow. She likes to use the Cricut and make heat transfer vinyl items. She's making kind of some swag, some stickers, some t-shirts, some hats, and some signage and all kinds of crazy stuff. So she's having fun with that. We'll have a little rack here just as display some of the items that we have. Most of the items, to be honest with you, are all make to order, so we don't carry a ton of inventory at the moment. What we do make, those, the majority of the product line are leather bags, primarily 100% leather with some sort of liner. We make 100% vegetable tan leather wallets, passport wallets, billfold wallets. We'll make leather belts. This is a little minimalist wallet with four cards and a center divider where you can put cash or whatnot, any kind of color you could probably imagine. There is our passport wallets. We make those in a bunch of different colors as well. Pink, black, red, purple, and this natural kind of bone color. These are very popular and hard to keep around. These we offer lined as well with some sort of other thin leather. These are all hand stitched, hand cut, hand burnished. Yeah, so these are available on our website at mythleatherco.com if you happen to be interested. Here is a sample of one of our billfold wallets. This is done in all black with a white contrast stitching. These are heavy duty. This will last the rest of your life, we guarantee it. Also some tote bags, and we have some leather samples down there. We have some thread. Primarily in our machines, we're using 92 weight bonded nylon. Next up we have is our dedicated cutting room. This is just a simple 4x8 piece of birch plywood on some cheap sawhorses. It works really well, and we have a cutting mat on there. I'm looking at obtaining a 4x8 cutting mat to replace this one, so it'll be the full size, but yeah, I'm on the fence about it because honestly I use this for kind of a layout area or staging for the projects that are in work. We keep some of our most of our templates on the back side of the table just to keep them out of the way. Of the leather hides that we keep on hand, this is the area that we also store it. This is in this cutting room as well, stored on these simple plastic shelves. We don't keep a lot of inventory on hand, with exception of the stuff that we constantly run over and over and over. Most of our materials that you see here are either the standards like I was talking about, or they are allocated to projects in WIP. We also have our interfacings at the end. We use Barb's Bags or gotinterfacing.com exclusively. We'll use Decaville Heavy, Decaville Light, and Woven Fuse 2 in different bag designs. This is another room that we currently have some temporary storage of some of our other leather items. We do keep some of these on hand. When we can find them, we buy them. Some of them are very difficult to find, so we just snatch them up when we can get them. Little counter space with some storage. Currently has some fabric and some of heat transfer vinyl items, coffee pot, the necessary stuff, shipping supplies, and a heat press. Ideally, this is going to be cleaned up to be mainly shipping and receiving area. So moving on, this is in the middle of the room, and this is the shared space for assembly, and Shelby also will sit at this table as well to assemble the small leather carry goods. She does 99% of the wallets, passport holders in this workstation. She has all of her adhesives and different thread colors and sizes and all kinds of stuff in this cart. She also has her stitching pony here where she'll clamp her wallets so she can hand stitch them. All of our handmade carry goods are all hand stitched. We have not moved to a machine on those. And then on the other side of the bench, this is where I mainly glue up most of my projects. That's why you see a lot of adhesive and stuff on the one side. Sometimes I'll use paper, but I get in a hurry, and it's just kind of the way it is. And then right behind my workstation here, we have, move this out of the way for you, it's our bell skiving machine. This is kind of a game changer when it comes to bags. If you're interested in a full tutorial on how this gets implemented into our workflow, please drop a comment in the comment box below, and we will certainly make that video for you. Moving along to my main workhorse machine. This is a Japanese manufactured Kanso 255 RB-2. This machine is made in Japan by Seiko. Just rebranded for Kanso. This is a fantastic machine. I believe this is a circa 70s or 80s, 1980s machine. It's a beautiful machine. Big bobbin, M-class bobbin, I believe that's what it is. Don't quote me on it. Vertical hook machine. Super strong, and we have it outfitted with speed reducer and servo motor on this one. And I upgraded all of the cheap plastic pads with some Chicago Harween leather out of Chicago. I did that on all three of my machines, so couldn't have any chintzy plastic stuff. This is another critical piece in our workflow. This is a cylinder arm machine fashioned after a Juki model. I can't remember which, but I know it's fashioned after a Kanso 227, I believe. This model is a Cowboy 227. It's a small bobbin machine. And you can see that the table has been modified. This used to be in a U shape, like the rest of most industrial sewing machine tables. It got in my way one afternoon. I got irritated. I went to the garage, got a hacksaw, or not a hacksaw, a jigsaw, and pretty much cut that thing off. I shored up the machine so it wouldn't tip over, shored it up, drove a bunch of screws in it, got it real solid, and I cut that piece off and threw it in the garbage. So currently I haven't done anything else with it because I've been too busy producing finished goods, but this is where we're at with it, and it works. So moving right along to this area is this is where we house all of our hardware, some punching tools above the self-healing mat on the granite, and so we'll punch all of our our through holes for our wallets in this area with a tool that looks like this. This is a Cinebrox stitching punch, and this punches out small little holes in the leather, which allows for the thread to go through very easy. It's a lot easier to stitch the holes. We have a couple different versions that we'll use. We also use those KS blades, but the pitch on those is really finite and laborious and really hard on your hands. We have some other strap tools by Craft Tool, which is a Tandy product. These are going to be rivet setters on the end, and some different radius tools, some strap in tools, a couple scratch-alls, excuse me. And then this is where I keep my interchangeable rivet setter on the end there. It just keeps it a nice place to keep it real easy for me. And then on the bottom here in this tray, we keep all of our dies for the double caps as well. This is a base for an interchangeable double caps. You can also put this like in a cam press or something like that. To be honest with you, I prefer to hand drive all my rivets. It's just what my preference is. I just have a better feel for when they're set properly. We'll cut, we'll also have cut little pieces of rim for washers out of leather, and I'll do that typically on my clicker. This is a Mighty Wonder clicker by Weaver Leather Company, or Weaver Leather Craft, I believe. It's a 4-ton clicker, and we have different dies for different shapes that we produce high volume of. Lots of leather, or excuse me, lots of wallet parts and zipper plackets, keychains, all kinds of different stuff. This greatly increases our workflow for cutting very accurate, precise pieces that we continuously use over and over and over and over and over. So that's that, and we'll keep all of our hardware in the same locations, and it kind of just moves from right to left. We'll keep, and they're all, you know, similar colors. So these are double caps in these 9 bins, and we'll have the smallest post diameter or length on the top. So this is 7.9, 9.5, and 12.7 millimeter in length, and then it just goes in succession with antique brass, nickel, and then now we've added this new black article. This is where we keep Chicago screws in similar fashion, different lengths, different colors, moving down the line, etc., etc. We have small little fob clasps and purse feet, all kinds of stuff. And one other thing we do is we'll cut the labels off the bags when they come in, drop them in the bottom of the bin, so when the hardware gets low, we know by a visual cue that when we can see the label like that, that it's time to reorder. So we just pull this thing out of here, fire up the internet, and place an order. And when the parts come in, they go right into the bin, and that way we're never out of hardware. There's nothing worse than finishing a bag or getting ready to finish bag, and you can't ship it because you're short on $5 worth of hardware. It's just kind of ridiculous. So we start from large to small on belt buckles, D-rings, strap adjusters, snap, these little snap clasps, the whole thing, in all of our colors. In these, we only carry antique brass and the bright nickel at the moment. Those are kind of the popular ones. So if anybody wants something different, we can get it. We just special order it. It'd be pretty expensive to keep all this stuff on hand, but we do have, you know, magnetic clasp and antique brass and nickel, and just the real popular stuff in those 2 colors. That's where we're at with our little humble factory. We're looking to give back to the leather crafting and bag making community by perhaps helping you get started or overcome fears or challenges that you have when you've been trying to make some of these things, and tricks and tips, and maybe some collaborations with other makers and other designers, and we're just looking to help everybody.